behalf of Zions Bank, we'd like to welcome you to this conversation to bring awareness to and celebrate the National Hispanic Heritage Month. And we're grateful for Alex, for the Utah Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for hosting us. I'd like to go ahead and ask if we might be able to introduce ourselves for the camera and for our audience. My name is Trent Christensen. I'm the Vice President of Community Development for Zions Bank, and have had the privilege of working with Alex and the Chamber on a few different things, and just grateful to be here and to get some additional insight into the Hispanic community and their contributions here in Utah.
Margarita Angelo, Diversity Officer for Zions Bank. I take care of the military internship program.
Hello, I am Alex Guzman. I have the privilege to serve as President and CEO here at the Utah Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
And I'm Robert Rendon. I'm Senior Vice President for Community Development, Community Affairs, and Diverse Markets here at Zions Bank.
Zions has always valued its relationship with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and the wonderful things that it does in the community. And wondered if, Alex, Robert, if you both, between the two of you, could give us a brief history of the Chamber, as when it began and how long it's been going, some of its contributions.
One of the founders is actually Robert Rendon, and the person who actually led the restructure of the Chamber many years ago. So please, Robert.
I will do that. Actually, the Chamber actually started in 1991, if you believe that, but in late 2005 and 6, there was a few of us realized that we really needed to take the Chamber to a different level. We were having monthly breakfasts and contactos, but we really weren't doing anything for businesses. So at that time, just a small group, quite honestly, it was me and Sean Reyes, and it was Art Pena in San Guevara decided that we needed to reorganize the Chamber. Now, we didn't do that according to any bylaws. We wiped the slate clean and then brought in new board members. At that time, that's when we brought in Jorge Fierros, the Ross Romeros, Lorena Ripple Jensen, and probably the biggest piece was David Barra. And then we still had the contactos, but we were really starting to focus on Hispanic small business at the time. And then I was very fortunate. I actually became a board member and the board president all at the same time. So we had a great team. We hired our first executive director in Miguel Rovira. And I'll talk a little bit later about our educational foundation that we started. But that's how we got started, and we needed to bring on some new corporate partners to pay for Miguel Rovira. We're very lucky that we were able to go to different big companies here, and we actually, within 6 months, we actually raised enough money to pay for Miguel.
I wonder, Alex, what do you think over the last, let's say, 10 or 20 years, what's one of the biggest impacts that the Hispanic community generally has had on Utah, on the economy, culturally? What are some of the biggest impacts that you've seen?
Two things. Actually, the financial contribution of the Hispanic community to the local economy is just tremendous. We have a purchasing power more than $9.6 billion a year. And just because of the spending habits we have as Hispanics, as we work so hard to make money, to be quite honest, we work harder to spend that money. So pretty much every single dollar we make is part of the cash flow of the local economy.
As we move now into 2020, we're going to be having another census come up. And that begs the question, what really is the size of the Hispanic community here in Utah and their impact? Do we know? Do we have good numbers on that?
We do have some numbers and projections there. We think that we are more than 455,000 Hispanics in the state of Utah. That's more than 120,000 Hispanic families. And together we're contributing with more than $9.6 billion to our local economy. But there are some projections out there. And by 2025, we think that we are going to be more than 600,000 Hispanics. But it is very important that those numbers are not necessarily the official numbers. In reality, we are more community members here from the Hispanic community. And the reason why we know that is because there are many families who were not necessarily comfortable participating on the census. And that this is a very good opportunity for us to encourage the entire community, regardless the race, regardless the status they may have or not in this community, to please participate on the census. But that numbers are going to receive plenty of benefits in terms of budgets, in terms of investments, in terms of opportunities for our children. So please participate on the census.
Representation with the legislature, all of that.
So we need to participate on the census, regardless whatever status our community may have or not. But the numbers right now, more than 455,000 Hispanic members.
That we can demonstrate.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right. Very well said.
If you were to name one thing from everything you just said that the Hispanic community would want to be known for, what's the one thing that you think really is defining for the Hispanic community?
As I think it was very well said by Robert, being Americans. We just happen to be Hispanics, but we are American as everybody else. So we are part of the system, we are part of the culture, we are part of the economy, we are part of the business community, and actually, of course, we want to keep our language, our culture, our behaviors, some of them, but in terms of business and in terms of how we want to be recognized as part of the game, as part of the system, as part of the big enchilada.
I think one of the things that we should recognize is that the Hispanic Latinos, we don't all come from the same country. There's 21 Hispanic Latino nations. The music, everything in between, you know. And so we need to embrace that, and I think we need to teach our children. My husband is from Bolivia. I'm proud to say that I'm Mexican. And you know, our kids, they have 3 different cultures that they can choose the very best from.
You know, we talk about diversity in Utah, and there's so much diversity just within the state of Utah, and then you look at the Hispanic community itself, so much diversity just within that community. You mentioned, you know, your husband and you. My mother's from Argentina. My father's from Idaho. We have a diverse family, and it's been a beautiful way of growing up to see these different cultures and how they play together. How do you think that that's benefited the community to have that diversity of background within the community? Has it made it stronger? Is that an active part of the community?
The chamber celebrates those different cultures here, and it's fun for us to do that. And a lot of people don't realize that we have all these cultures and we have the different foods and the music, but the chamber has really brought those together on the business side and actually the cultural side also.
Yeah. And as we celebrate National Hispanic Heritage Month, you know, really what we're celebrating is this beautiful diversity within the community. You know, if the strength of the Utah community is in its diversity, then one of the secret weapons, I would say, in the Hispanic community is its own diversity. Robert, I know educationally speaking, you also had another anecdote of something that's been
We
tremendous.
really do, and it's something we're very proud of. You know, back when we were reorganizing the chamber in 2005, 6, and 7, later on, we realized that we had a nonprofit, educational nonprofit, and we really felt that we really needed to start to do something to serve our children. And this wasn't nothing scientific, but what we did, we looked at the grade schools on this side of town. We looked at middle schools, and all of a sudden the percentage of our students started to go down. So we thought, how can we educate our children and get to them? So we decided one thing is that we had a lot of high school Hispanic students that couldn't afford to go to college. And so what we did, we started the Somos Foundation.
When you say we, the Hispanic community came
Well,
together.
actually, it was really the Utah Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the one that started Somos. And I will say that we gave, the first year we had an event, we gave out 3 scholarships for $2,000 each, and that money came from the Utah Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And we decided we needed to take it, without going through the whole thing, you know, we have actually given out a little over $3.5 million to Hispanic students that needed those resources to go to school.
I want to say thank you to each of you for participating in this panel and talking about your experience with the Hispanic communities. Anything else you'd want to mention?
Last comment I can make is about culture and soccer. We cannot actually divorce a culture, the Hispanic culture, the Latin culture, and soccer. As a matter of fact, is that heavy the influence of the Hispanic blood into the U.S. that now for 2 consecutive years, the women's world champion in soccer are from U.S.
Well, let's not forget about baseball, though.
Right? Exactly. The Clemente is in the Hall of Fame. That's true.
That's right.
Well, you know, one thing that I really want to let the community know as well is how Science Bank embraces the Hispanic community, and not just the Hispanic Latino community. I think, you know, when you think about all the things that they do on the community on a regular basis, it's simply amazing. including the ESL class through the University of Utah. I think we graduated how many students?
Day one.
From day one.
We're near 400, I believe. And I will say one thing, we have one of our very first students of our program is sitting here right next to me. I don't know, were you aware of that? Alex was one of the first or second cohorts of our Zions English Language Institute with the University of Utah.
And to that point, and to something you said, there's so much out there that perhaps we don't know about. And that's the beauty of Hispanic Heritage Month, right? Is that from September 15th to October 15th, we have a chance to get out there and find out what's really out there, the cultural events that are happening, the many food events that are happening that I would highly recommend.
Yeah, we track those, me and Alex.
You know where and you know when. So on behalf of Zions Bank, we want to thank again the Utah Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for hosting us and for having this dialogue with us. Grateful for your impact in the Hispanic community and grateful for the impact of the Hispanic community here in Utah and nationally.